Hey, welcome to the video. My name's Dychronic, and today we're taking a look at the Xur for January 28th, 2022. You can find him in his regular spot in the tower. Just head over into the top left section of the hangar. You can find him right here next to, you guessed it, the precipice! Oh yeah, Xenology. Yeah, give me some free exotic cipher. This is a higher overview in case this is all you cared about. First up for the weapon today, we have the Two-Tailed Fox, which actually has a number of very interesting ornaments to it. This weapon is actually not a bad weapon, even though I don't use it very much at all, especially considering I have a Galanor. It's actually a decent amount of DPS and total amount of damage, because rockets are doing well, and this one shoots 2 of them at once, and it also shoots some void damage, it shoots some solar damage, and they also track the target, which is something that's nice to have. However, I still think that Galanor is going to be the best in nearly every way for PvE, and probably PvP as well, which makes this very slow firing rocket that has to wait for that second rocket to exit just not very good. Maybe they can make it stun champions. Maybe like this one can stun all champions at once. That'd be kind of cool and maybe worth heavy ammo. That would be kind of weird. Moving on to the Hunter exotic, we have the Shards of Galanor. An exotic that used to be a lot of fun because it would essentially give you your full blade barrage back, and now it limits at 50% and it's somewhat inconsistent, or at least the super generation part. But it is rather simple. You just need hits or kills with blade barrage and you get some of your super back, which is always nice to have. The only problem is the super is the only good part about that subclass. Whenever they revamp Solar to be just like Stasis and Void 3.0, and you are going to be able to swap things out within the subclass with a super, this one may end up having more use. And I guess it's kind of useful for the Vault of Glass boss. As far as the roll goes, high intellect is probably what you want on it, because you still need intellect for the second 50%. Recovery and mobility, always nice to have, especially on a hunter, and a total of 65. Pretty damn good. I would actually recommend this roll. And it has an ornament. Oh, I forgot about this ornament. Very fancy, very fancy. Up next for the Titan exotic, we have the Lion Rampant. An exotic that's very useful in PvE for jump puzzles or going very far with your lift, or in PvP being able to defensive float above a doorway. Because it allows you better aerial maneuverability, which is essentially strafe lift without needing strafe lift, and accurate hipfire when you're in the air during lift. So any hipfire weapons like the Last Word or DMT are especially useful with this weapon because, or this exotic, because they work well together. As far as the roll goes, this particular exotic, you're probably going to be a bit more of a mobility guy. I like recovery. I definitely think that this is a good PvP option. So not the best roll. Strength is not really what I would go for here, but total stats 64. If it works in your build, it works. Otherwise, not a big fan. And finally, for the Warlock exotic, we have the rnstein Armlets. First and foremost, whenever you get a melee kill with this, you get claws on your hands. Big glowing red claws. I think that's pretty cool. You also have an ornament. I always forget about this one. If you've never heard of it, melee kills instantly restore a large amount of health. I think it's around half your health, maybe a little bit more, and continue to restore health for a short duration, which is 8 seconds, by the way. So you get rift level healing and half of your health after getting a melee kill. And this works with ranged melees, regular melees, and it is very good for PvP for the fact that you can just go in against multiple enemies, get kills with your melees, survive attacks, and then continue to kill enemies. Especially now that we have reverted back to the 140 hand cannon meta, 120s kind of made this useless because you could just still get a 3-shot anyways. 140s, it may make a difference. And of course in PvE, it's melee based. Even though you do get healing, it is limited. As far as the roll goes, you probably like to see a lot of strength and probably mobility. However, a lot of people like low mobility on the Warlock, and you'll probably use this with Celestial Fire, so you want lower mobility. Outside of that, total stats of 63 is pretty much the average. Not a bad roll for a pretty good exotic. Probably going to be coming up in this season, or this half of the season, again, because 140s are taking over. I always forget about this button, where you can like toggle it to see how it would affect your stats if you had it on. Like, I always forget about that. Moving on to the other stuff, the legendary weapons. Seventh Seraph, you have auto-loading Vorpal. I forgot this thing can actually have Vorpal, which is not a bad roll. Definitely a lot of good magazine and range stuff in here, although I do think there are better rolls. We have the Night Watch, which has explosive payload, which means if you don't have a good kinetic scout rifle, take this one. Not the best version, but it has explosive payload, and that's all that really matters. Nature of the Beast has the Under Pressure Dragonfly, not a lot of range stuff, not really my recommendation. Wishbringer, field prep opening shot, not really the best to have field prep. Come on. And the rest of it is not super good. Again, I would definitely wait for something like Full Choke. After that, first and last out, hip fire by the storm. Nope, not even gonna expect that one. Falling Guillotine, Relentless Surrounded. Not a bad combo, especially after Whirlwind did get nerfed. People are leaning more towards Vorpal, and Surrounded is an okay option as well. And it does have Jagged Edge, which is what you'd like to see on it. After that, we have the third Axiom, which is Surplus Opening Shot. Not a bad combo for a 390. You have Small Bore, you have Armor Piercing. I personally think you could do a little better, but handling is actually a decent option for these kinds of scout or pulse rifles. Following that, for the Hunter Armor. Again, whatever class you're on, you'll see different stats, but for the Hunter Armor, 58 high recovery, not terrible. We have 60 high resilience, not my favorite. 63 high mobility and strength, can work with certain builds, especially if you're doing invisibility stuff. And finally, we have this one, which is high recovery, high intellect, 62. Even though it has resilience and low mobility, this is a decent option as well. So definitely the helmet and the legs are decent options. Again, depends on your build. And of course, pick up your exotic engram. Guarantee an exotic you never see before, and it's guaranteed with a high stat roll. Did I? Nope. And it's guaranteed with a high stat roll. Ooh, lucky pants. Let's see if we can get another one with the exotic cipher. Ooh, a Wormhouse Crown. 66. Oh my goodness. And of course, if you haven't seen it already, I do live stream after all of these videos. Again, I know you guys hear this a lot, so I'm just gonna cut it short. I live stream, it's Destiny 2, it's on YouTube. Times are on screen right now. We have absolutely no fun, so come check it out. And of course, a big thank you to my patrons on Patreon. Specifically, a big thank you to Mom and Dad, Chris Thompson, Dr. Strange, Kelly Allen, Monday, Stu Buckmas, Raymond, Shoni, and Panther, Casey Reagan for their support on Patreon. And that's it. Hope you guys did enjoy. My name's Dychronic, and I'll see you guys on the next one.